hello to you all. I hope your summer is off to a brilliant start, just like mine is. I am on top of the world as I step into mountain season, having just gotten to climb a few very snowy peaks up here in Colorado as I get to hang out here. I have a fun video today for you as I get to start to weave together two themes that are clearly merging here at the perfect time as we enter into mountain season. I'm going to send you in that direction real quick before I do. A few things to put on your radar. My new Substack, my new space for writing, for housing my blog. I've largely moved my blog off of upwardslopes.com and moved it over to Substack. If you want to join me there in that space, housing the written word, it's a space that I love coming to you in this way here on video. I found that sometimes it's in writing where I can really dive deeper into some very important topics. It's a space where you can also support me as I really dive deep, as I continue to write this book, a book that's very much so focused on the theme of today's video. Also, we have our We Are the Forest membership, an online yoga space. If you want to join me in practice, which is going to really show up as a theme today. How can we take these words, these mental constructs, ideas, and actually start to embody them in our own lives? So as always, links are available in the comments. I so hope to see you over there in those spaces, and I hope you enjoy today's conversation. There's this fun thing that gets to happen as people are starting to recognize me as a yoga teacher, as videos are piling up about how we can slow down and be more gentle with ourselves and bring in more ease and flow and grace. Then moments like this weekend happen, moments when I find myself charging forward into mountain season, coming up here to Colorado to continue to tick off more 14ers, to continue to push myself trail running, to not only go climb a 14er, but climb a 14er in the snow while getting to the top, looking out at other mountains I can get to, charging forward on paths that haven't been created. So this is fun because this is when I get to bring together two seemingly opposite worlds. A world where, on the one hand, people are advocating for being gentle with ourselves and slowing down and working less and taking fewer risks, being far easier on our nervous systems. And on the other hand, this world where we get to charge forward and work hard and fight for the outcomes that we want. These two seemingly opposite worlds that here we get to start to weave together, to perhaps start to alchemize as we step into a space where we get to recognize life for the full complexity and richness that gets to exist as we recognize the freedom that we each have to, in any moment, really drop in as we get to ask ourselves, what is this moment asking for? I launched this channel during a time of deep rest for myself. I had spent really the entirety of my life charging forward, putting my head down, working so hard to achieve bigger and bigger and bigger goals. And after achieving one of the grandest goals I could have ever imagined, running 100 miles, being in this practice that involves always really asking, really tuning in with ourselves. What is needed in this moment? Well, what happened during this period of time was an answer that always, and there may be a few, I can't say always, I can't get away with saying always, but in most cases, the answer being, it's time to slow down. It's time to be so gentle with myself. And that's the space that a lot of people have now met me, because it's where I've launched a lot of new spaces, including this new channel here. So then it's fun when I get to moments like this where I get to again talk about charging forward, putting your head down and doing the hard work that needs to be done to get to the places that you want to go. So let's talk about this. How can we live life in this way where we focus our attention and we get so clear on the goals that we actually want to accomplish? And how can we harness everything that is required to get there? And again, maybe for you, it's an actual mountain. Maybe it's some sort of physical goal that's going to require your physical body to be working. Or maybe it's, I think about my business goals and launching this business. Maybe it's something that works in that sort of realm for you. Whatever it is, whatever metaphorical or literal mountain you want to climb, how do we actually take steps to get there? Calling upon all those parts of ourselves that are required. And how do we do this in a way that doesn't break us down, that doesn't burn us out, that allows us to be kind to ourselves, to be gentle enough on ourselves that we aren't causing the harm that so many people experience maybe through physical pain, because we've put too much stress on our bodies and our bodies can't handle it anymore. Maybe it exists more in the mental or emotional realm, maybe as anxiety or depression, or maybe it gets so extreme as it did in my case that it led to full-blown panic attacks and complete shutdown and an inability to even participate in the things I wanted to be doing in life. It is my deepest wish to help you pursue those things that you want to be doing in life in a way that's actually leading you to joy and fulfillment and actually creating the outcomes that you are seeking. What we're working on preventing here is any action that comes from a place that, maybe something has caught our eye. Something has caught our eye, maybe has come in from a social media post or a friend or the news, something that has hooked you, and you now think that it's so important to head in this direction without an ability to really check in with yourself. So that's what we get to do here, is learn to tune in with our own selves, to really get to understand, is this the best thing for me to be pursuing? Is this actually going to lead to that joy, that fulfillment? Is that actually going to make the world a better place in the way that I so want to make happen? So I have a few stories to share on that point as we continue here to get to talk about mountains and the experiences that continue to unfold out there as the mountains as my greatest teachers. So it finally stopped raining, and I wanted to take that opportunity to get outside. It's my general rule in life. If I can be inside or outside, where am I going to be? So I wanted to take this opportunity to head out here and really take a moment to invite in this space for my deeper why. Why is it that I do everything I do? Of course, I'm here to support you in all the ways we get to talk about and also this. This is why, right? Our forests, our lands are so deeply asking of us that we learn everything that I've been talking about. This ability to recognize where is the best place to put our attention. Knowing, as I see these words, that we've been taught so many places to put our attention, to put our efforts, as we charge forward, burning ourselves out, burning down our planet. So I come out here as often as I can to whatever forest, whatever land I can find, to remind myself of what really matters. Where do I get to put my attention in a way that best serves myself, best serves our planet, knowing that when I am in alignment, that those choices are rarely conflicting. So, without just one more quick shout out to my We Are the Forest membership space, a space where we get to be in embodied practices, be that yoga, guided meditations, some other creative practices, a space where we get to learn these skills that I'm speaking to in this video. I am going to send you back to the conversation as we get to dive into some examples of being out in the mountains, some more fun examples. Heading back again to the biggest example that I have, running 100 miles last year. Crazy, crazy experience full of so many different decisions. Really, truly holding myself to this line that is, how far can I push myself in a way that truly serves in the best way possible? And how can I listen in to what I need most? Where is that limit? Where is that limit? So here I am at some point during High Lonesome 100. I think at this point I was about 40 miles in. I'd already gone up and over 3 mountain passes. You see me smiling because I'm just on top of the world, literally up at 13,000 feet with the most spectacular views. Also, just so happy with myself because at this point, I'd made a decision to stick with it. Now, about 10, 15 miles back, things were not looking good. I had committed to this 100-mile race. I'd put in so much work. I was climbing the second mountain pass, doing everything I could to charge forward and just in so much pain. My hip flexor in excruciating pain, being so depleted of energy, having one person after the next passing me by, and really, really battling with myself. Like, why did I make this decision? Now, I bring you this example because sometimes in these spaces, we brush up against places that maybe we shouldn't be putting so much work. Coming from this theme, right? This theme, being gentle with ourselves, that I've made so many videos about. Well, what happens? What happens when what really serves most is on the other end, is completely pushing your limits? So I'm climbing the second mountain pass and just completely at my limit, deeply questioning, how can I possibly do this? Making it down the other side where I could finally take a break. Hung out 15 minutes, nothing else to do but nourish myself. Eat as much as possible, take in as much water, salt as possible. Take a moment relax, ask my body, what do you need? What do you need? And also ask, can I continue? Is it okay? Will I be okay? Even though it feels like I am completely at my limit, is it okay to continue? Is it okay to continue charging towards this goal that I've come to understand is so important? And bringing more words to the fact that this discernment, right? This piece that is discernment. How do we know? How do we know where to take our next step? How do we know? Is it okay to keep charging forward, or do I need to slow down? Do I need to be far more gentler with myself in this space? Bringing a few more words about the practice, how we be in the practice that is learning this discernment piece. But here's the thing with these kind of practices, right? We call them practices because it's not something that just happens. There's no secret recipe that I can provide to you here to tell you, how do you make these types of decisions? And I can't do that because that sort of thing exists up in our head, right? The world of language and logic and thinking and all that great stuff has no power, none, when it comes to the ability to know, is it right for me right now to go charge up a mountain? And as I'm taking steps, is it right for me to keep taking those steps? As was the case this weekend, heading up this mountain, this 14 something thousand foot mountain, heading up it, continuously checking in with myself. Am I good to keep going? Yes, 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 I'm good to keep going. Reaching the top, setting my eyes on another peak out in the distance because this beautiful ridgeline, this beautiful trackless ridgeline, no one else had been going over there, catching my eye. How do you know? How do you know that it's okay to keep charging forward? Or in this case, ski down on my 2 feet because it's a very snowy hillside, then keep running across the ridgeline, then turn back around, head back up the snowy peak, head over to a third peak. How do you know? Again, it's not something that I get to share with you via words in this way. It's a skill. And I don't love the word skill here. It's not the perfect word, but I'll continue to use it. This ability to know our own truth, to know, yes, my body, my mind, all the things, it's aligned and I'm ready to keep charging forward in that direction. But this isn't always the case. This isn't always the case. I was I was on a mountain in the San Juans in the fall last year. I had been running I'd been running for a series of days, heading up different peaks, heading along different paths, covering a lot and a lot of miles. And day 3 was a designated rest day. And rest day for me, when I'm out in the mountains, doesn't look like sitting around doing nothing. It looks like taking a walk through the trees. It being autumn, the trees were just magical, overflowing with just beauty and life. And so I head up a trail, and this trail meanders up and up and up, and eventually I find a peak up ahead. And it's a beautiful peak. I had done a winter ascent of it before, snowboarded down it. It was absolutely incredible. And this peak is calling to me. It's calling to me in the way only peaks can. I have to go to the summit. I have to go to the summit. And every other part of me is reminding myself, like, Katie, this is rest day. This is wandering through the forest, just soaking in the green and the gold. And no, my mind has caught the eye of a peak. I am charging forward. So I get past tree line and the trail disappears. And I'm looking at different ways that I can head up this mountain. And I start heading up the face, and it's getting steeper and steeper and steeper. And eventually I find myself, putting one foot down and it kind of sliding down because it's too steep and too loose. Put one more foot and I'm just sliding, and it becomes clear to me that I cannot reach the peak in this way. But I don't give up so easily. I didn't just turn around. I bushwhacked over to the ridgeline. The ridgeline is often a great place to summit a peak. Lo and behold, there's a trail there. So I start taking steps up this path. But once again, it's getting steeper and steeper. And again, I'm putting one foot down and it's sliding. I put another foot down and it's sliding. And I'm up here at 12 something thousand feet. I haven't seen a single soul all day. Everything in my body is telling me this peak is not in the cards. But I know how to fight my way. I know how to fight my way forward. When my eye catches something, the world has taught me. I know how to keep charging forward. So I did. And as I'm taking each step, my body is just rebelling. I'm shaking. I'm crying. And I'm so mad at myself because I should be able to summit this peak. There's a trail. Clearly, people have summited this peak, but for whatever reason, I'm crying, I'm sliding down the mountain, and I can't make it happen. Whew, didn't know I was telling that story today, but the point here is some days it's in the cards to charge forward up a peak and give it all we've got so that we can get to the top. And once we get to the top, we get another view of where can we keep charging forward. And sometimes life unfolds in that way. And other days, you may set forth charging towards something only to have every sign tell you this isn't right. This is not your mountain to climb. And how do we know? How do we know when to keep charging forward, when to take a step back? Hey there, friends. Once more, coming out here to say thank you for listening in today. If you like this kind of goofy conversation, trying to really get at some topics that I've found so important to work with as we get to share these silly stories, these difficult yet beautiful experiences out in the mountains. If you are enjoying this sort of thing, please let me know in the comments what you're getting out of it. And of course, if you have not, please like, please subscribe so that you can keep seeing these videos so that I know that you're out there watching and